Morning, everybody. Andy here again. Day 48. Put the figures down there as per usual, but the weekend the figures were slightly lower, which is good in some ways, but I'm not sure they're really accurate. So it was 343 deaths yesterday in the UK, and that brings the total now to 31,930, getting close to 32,000. But of course, the big news yesterday, or today, from yesterday, was Boris's speech. So he's told us what we can do. At least I think he has. Everyone seems to be just as confused as we were before, because what happens, and I mentioned some of this yesterday, is that although he made a speech yesterday, journalists are obviously given more details afterwards. Today he is publishing a 50-page document outlining some of the more details of what he's doing, and he's going into Parliament to make a statement, which is good. Some would say that he should have done that first, but that's another issue. And he's going to take questions. But all of this means that whatever he said last night is now going to be qualified by what he's going to say for the rest of the day. So, and more details coming in. The basic thing is that we are now at least starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully we are, let's put it that way, because it's all very much conditional on how people now go about this. And there's a shift, actually, there's a shift of emphasis here, because before the government were going to do this and the government were going to do that. Now the emphasis is basically being put onto the people, us. If we don't do what they want us to do, then it's going to be our fault because we didn't obey what they were doing. But there's not. We've changed our slogans over here. They love the Boris Johnson government. They love slogans. They love these little three-word slogans or little slogans they can put together. It's all part of his friend, Mr. Dominic Cummings, the unelected head of the government, effectively, who seems to run everything in a very shadowy way. But anyway, they love their little slogans, and now it was stay at home, protect lives, and save the NHS or something, or protect the NHS. So stay at home, save lives, protect the NHS. Yes. The new one is something or another. It says stay alert. And that's all it is. Stay alert. Yeah, well, okay. I think hopefully we're all staying alert now. When you cross the road, you're staying alert. It's a shift of emphasis. So I just feel that it's putting the emphasis on us, sort of shifting the blame a little bit, because now we're in a situation that we've been told to stay alert. We're allowed to go out. I'll come to that in a minute. But I know it's not easy. It's going into a lockdown. It's straight because you just go like that, or semi-lockdown. Yes. Coming out of it is a completely different thing, because you have to do it in very slow incremental steps, because you don't want the virus to come back, which is the whole point. I mean, we now have what I said yesterday was like a roadmap. We've had things happening today, possibly from the 1st of June, possibly from the 1st of July, providing things don't get any worse. Things will changed. Other things will open. But already Germany yesterday announced that their infection rate has gone up. The magic R figure that we're using, which is to do with infections and how you infect other people, that has gone back over 1 now, which means that the infection rate is going up. If it goes over 1, the R rate goes over 1, the infections are increasing. That's gone back over 1 in Germany, and they've just started relaxing some of their rules. Maybe they've done it too quickly. I can't pretend to be an expert, but I think this is exactly what Angela Merkel was warning against. So that's, once again, we can learn from what people are doing there. So from today, people who can go back to work, who can't work from home, are expected to go back to work. Probably, but these are people like in construction industries and manufacturing industries as well. But they're not supposed to use public transport because that isn't safe. So they're all going to get in cars because it's the only way you can do things now. They're encouraged. I think Boris said, yeah, we'd like you to walk to work and we'd like you to cycle to work. That's pretty much impractical. Lots of people have been doing lots of cycling, doing lots of walking now. But if you're going long distances, that is totally impractical. Also, apart from the fact that people now don't know what they're doing, and they were only given 12 hours notice to say, right, by the way, you should be going back to work tomorrow. People have got kids at home. There's things that, they don't necessarily feel safe going back to work. It's one of the worst things. And this is from both sides, both the union side and even the industry, business leaders side, are saying, well, hang on a minute. We can't just suddenly go bang and have everybody come back, because everybody is still supposed to be socially distancing at all times anyway, which is very good advice. That's the only way you're going to stop this ultimately is to carry on social distancing. But the more and more people you have in the workplace, out in the wider world, the harder it is to have social distancing, sensibly. So there's a lot of confusion there. Some people are not going to feel comfortable about going back to work, even though they probably need to earn money and that, and I totally understand. But over here, people have been doing that anyway. Construction industries, a lot of it has still been going on around here. I've seen people in vans and construction sites here which haven't stopped. So there's not a great deal of difference with that. But we'll see whether there's any more info. Hopefully there will be, because as I said, lots of people are confused. Thankfully, it does that side of things doesn't involve me. The other major change is that as from Wednesday, not today, but Wednesday, we can now have unlimited forms of exercise. We can go out and cycle. We can even go fishing or apparently swimming in lakes and rivers or something. Obviously not in controlled environments, in pools, enclosed surroundings, that type of thing. And we're allowed to meet one other person from outside of our household, outside, provided that the regulations sort of 2 metres apart. But once again, which is great because it means that more people will feel more comfortable about going out. But it basically means that you can go out at any time you want to, because who's going to be able to challenge you to say, well, I'm exercising. I might be walking around where the shops are and think, although the shops aren't going to be open. I don't think so. Around here, people have been meeting in parks and things like that anyway. I've seen them. Okay, they've been socially distancing. I mean, and I don't see a problem with that particularly, because they're in parks, they're in wide open spaces. They're not together. And so people have been doing that quite a lot. I've seen people sitting on benches at either end of the big bench, that they've obviously arranged to meet. So things haven't really changed in that respect. The other thing is about people are allowed to sunbathe and things like that now. Well, people have been doing that here. As I mentioned the other day, Saturday, people were coming down to the coast to sunbathe and do that anyway. So in lots of ways, that hasn't changed, although I suppose it's now got an official stamp on it. Possibly because it says that you are now allowed to drive, apparently, to take this form of exercise, but it doesn't say how far you're allowed to drive. So am I allowed to drive from London to Hastings, which is 60 odd miles, 100 kilometres, to get some form of exercise, or to sunbathe? It's very confusing. As I said, I realise that it's an impossible task to come out of something like this. But as I said before, it needs to be thought through. The details need to be thought about, and they need to be spelled out. You can't just suddenly say 12 hours notice you can go back to work, but you're not allowed to use public transport. We're expecting you to go in even if you don't feel safe. Or how are you going to be safe? How are you going to socially distance in a manufacturing environment? Because if you've got any sort of manufacturing, a factory type of thing, there's no way you're 6 feet apart in normal circumstances. So how many people go back to work? Do you go back to work? Do your colleagues go back to work? And how do you know? Because the workers and the people who own the factories, the construction sites, only found this out yesterday evening themselves. It's all very confusing, and people are very confused as per usual. But we'll see, and maybe tomorrow I'll give a further update, a further clarification of where we are. So, yes, but as I said, hopefully we are on that sort of road now. We can actually start seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, providing everybody behaves themselves and we're not naughty, and the R infection rate doesn't start going up above 1, because, as I said, it will just come tumbling down again and we'll be back where we started. So, who knows? So, are we any further? Yes, but no, maybe. Who knows? At least I don't have to tell you to stay at home. Well, actually, I do, because it's not until Wednesday that you're allowed out in that respect. Confusing. Anyway, but stay safe. Stay safe, even. Let's see, I'm getting confused. My words are getting confused. And stay strong. Try and do that for just a little bit longer. Anyway, hopefully I'll speak to you tomorrow. Goodbye.